T190, yep, air conditioning, enclosed cab. I kind of got it made here. I'm the proud owner of two wood splitters that I wanted to talk about here. This is the Pro version. I've got the 30-inch stroke. I think they make one with a 36-inch stroke. It's almost identical, but I wanted this one because it has the viewing window that they talk about. And when you're looking down through the top of it, you can see that there's an opening, and I really like that a lot. There's a lot of things about this splitter that I think are very unique and very useful. One big aspect of it is, you see that rotating connector on top? Well, the splitting wedges are replaceable and interchangeable. Oop, almost lost one. That was close. There's a hillside that goes down there. I would have had to chase it. But anyway, those splitters, I have three different splitter wedges. This is the 4-way wedge. There's a single wedge, and there's also a 6-way wedge. I think I prefer the 4-way wedge the most because it kind of does the same thing that the single does. And if you put it down flat on top of a piece and let the plane, the center portion of it, ride just above the piece, it'll split it in two parts. And when you need to split it, you can go 4 pieces. The 6-way doesn't really allow you to do that because 2 of them kind of angle downward. So I think here's an example of me using it to split it directly in half. See how easy it is to pick up the pieces and move them around. There we go. I'm just splitting it in half, and it works quite well. But the beauty of this 4-way wedge is how quickly you can build up the pile. You know, you go 4, then 8, then 12, then 16, and before you know it, you've got a mountain. And it's very, very powerful. I've owned this for a few years. I also own the smaller version of this one. It's called the Warrior, and it has a built-in 4-way wedge into it. I like that machine as well. This one does have a lot more power, and when I get into some really big nasty things, here I'm going to speed it up a little bit because you can see the process a little bit better in faster motion. There's the owner of the property. The job was kind of interesting. I have a neighbor that burns wood, and that's how he heats his house. He doesn't have anything else but. He's got this enormous furnace heater. He calls it George. It's a monster. It's down in the basement, and he goes through 5 or 6 cords a year. He's getting up there in age. He's about 80 now, and I had a job a few weeks ago where I had to remove this enormous live oak, and I asked him if I could drop all the wood off there, and he said sure, and I dropped it off, and his eyes got real big, and he says, "Oh, how am I gonna move that?" I said, "Oh, okay," well, because he's my neighbor. I did him a favor. I went over there, and it didn't take me that long at all. I split this entire pile it took me about 2 hours, and you got to remember I spent a bit of time talking with him and a little BSing, but it went pretty fast. The wood is green, so it splits pretty nicely. Live oak is a really tough wood to split when it's dry, but even dry, this machine doesn't have any problem splitting it. Well, I hope you enjoy watching the way I manage the wood. You can really be efficient by picking up the pieces and then rotating and splitting in a separate pile, because if you keep splitting in the same pile, then you've got to sort through that pile. I can pick up some massive big rounds, move stuff around. There we go. I'm splitting one in half first. I stop to move it. And once you get the hang of your skid steer, I have the T190 Bobcat, you really can be very, very efficient at managing the wood. You can rotate it, you can pick it up, you can get it all into position. But you know, there's a lot of skill in operating the machine along with the splitter. I've been working with a Bobcat for a long time. The first one I bought was, oh gosh, I'm gonna say almost 30 years ago. I've got an old 743. I still have it as a wheel machine. Then I've had this one for, I don't know, 10, 12 years now, the T190, the track machine. And I like it a lot. The guy that owns this company, his name is Matt. As you can see there, TM Skid Splitter, or you can go to skidsplitter.com to look at the machines. I really like talking to the guy. He's about as honest a guy as you can imagine. These are built in America. I think they're Minnesota someplace. I've never met him in person. I've talked to him many times on the phone. I really like the guy, and I think you'll enjoy talking to him. Well, thanks for taking the time to view this little presentation. There's the mountain of wood after I'm all done. Went really smooth. I'd say at least 2 chords there, and only about 2 hours work.